So I was Christian my whole life, and when I got to college, I decided that I wanted to start going to one of the college Bible studies at a local church, and I went to go get a new Bible that had margins so that I could take notes, because I really wanted to get closer to my faith and become, a better follower of God. And while I was at the bookstore, there was also a copy of the Quran sitting on the shelf, and I remember thinking to myself, oh, well, that's the same God. I would love to read this someday and understand how other people think and what they believe. Foreshadowing. So I take it home and I don't read it for a year, a full year. I was like, nope, I'm focused on the Bible. I'm Christian. I want to have a very thorough understanding of the Bible before I read the Quran. And so in that year, I was just really focused on the Bible, and I was going to church a lot. I was going to youth group every week. And every now and then there would just be something I would read or come across, or something someone would say in a sermon, and I would just be like, I don't know about that. And it's anyone who's gone through, doubting your faith, it's very frustrating. It's stressful, because you're no, I believe, but I just don't understand this thing. And so every time I would have those moments of doubts, I would literally just take a minute, breathe, and I would pray. And I would pray something very specific. I never read it anywhere. I didn't hear it anywhere. It just came naturally. I would use these very specific words. I would start by being thankful. I would tell God, literally, thank you for everything that you've given to me. I have so many blessings. Thank you. Thank you for all of them. Then I would say, by the way, you're the only one that I want to worship. I don't want to go to anything else. I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave God. Whatever you tell me goes. So I don't want to worship anyone else. I'm not asking for help from anyone else. I would ask to be guided and to be kept on a straight path. And finally, I would ask to not let me go astray, and don't let me become a hypocrite. I'm sitting in my bed praying, and I just get this feeling that's go read the Quran. And I read the little introduction to the translation, about the translator, and a little bit intro to Islam. I was this is so cool, oh my gosh. And then I opened it up to the first 7 verses, Al-Fatiha, and if you're Muslim, then you probably already picked up on this with what I already said, but if you're not, this is the opening to the Quran in English. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful, all praises for Allah, the Lord of all worlds, the most compassionate, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those you have blessed, not those you are displeased with, or those who are astray. Ameen. And I literally remember sitting there after reading this, and the moment that it clicked in my brain that I'd already been praying this for a year, I'm not even exaggerating when I say it felt like a piece of my soul clicked into place. It felt so right, and I literally just remember that same moment that click happened, the same feeling that told me to read the Quran said, you want a guidance? This is it. And I started crying. I tried to get up to walk to a different room or something, and I literally couldn't stand. I fell to the ground, and I put my face on the ground how Muslims pray, and at the time I did not know that that's how Muslims prayed, and I literally couldn't speak. The only thing that I could kind of get out of my mouth was thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, over and over again. And yeah, so within 7 lines of the Quran, I knew I was Muslim, and I finished reading the whole Quran in English in about 3 months, and then I took my Shahada right before Ramadan, and yeah, it's been a year now, and in those 3 months that I spent reading the Quran, let me just say, I was blown away. I mean, I had things, literally questions I had since I was 7 years old answered for me. It felt like reading what I'd already believed. Basically, it was just all oh, I was Muslim my whole life, and I didn't even know it. I also didn't know this at the time, but that prayer, Al-Fatiha, if you're doing all 5 prayers for the day and with all the repetitions, you pray it a minimum of 17 times a day. And I had already been praying it basically daily before without even knowing.